Hi, my name is Gracia Mataro, and I have the honor of introducing Georgia Carls today. Picture this, you're me, the new girl at St. Mary's who did not know a single soul on the freshman Victory Ranch retreat. As I stood there, not knowing where to sit, Georgia, probably seeing the fear in my eyes, came up and said, "Hey, why don't you come sit with us?" Making me feel like maybe I would actually have one friend in this new place. This is one of the many stories of how Georgia is a kind and caring person the class of 2023 is so grateful to have. However, she is much more than a good friend. She is intelligent, funny, a Marvel fanatic, an amazing sister, a great listener, and an award-winning filmmaker. I know she has something wonderful to say, so give it up for Georgia Lindsay Carls.
In 2001, my Oma accidentally cut off her finger with an electric saw. If you ask her about the accident, you might expect her to recoil as she remembers the painful procedure and how horrible that saw is, but she doesn't. Oma smiles and joyfully recounts the tale, how she carried half of her finger in a baggie to the hospital, how neatly and perfectly the doctor stitched her up, and how she always has a unique story to tell. She was 68 at the time, making a wooden wheel of fortune for a retirement home in the area because that's just what she does. She is an enigma of a woman and the most creative person I know. Whether it be painting, sketching, woodmaking, or cooking, she has inspired generations of creativity within my family. I would be so excited to visit my grandparents' house when I was younger because almost every time without fail, I would be greeted at the door with the project of the day. One time, she opened the door and led me to an array of fabrics. Today, we will be making matching outfits for me and the life-size doll named Nancy that Oma kept in her house. Nancy was a little creepy, but I had fun making the matching outfits. Another time, she opened the door and gestured behind her to the kitchen, which was covered in pasta. I entered the kitchen and looked around and realized I was absolutely surrounded. She had built wooden structures just to hold all of it. "Today, we're making ravioli," she said. I happily agreed, and she showed me how to feed the pasta into the machine so that it came out flat, delicately place the meat, and then fold and create the actual ravioli. I couldn't get it right. No matter how hard I tried, I ripped the pasta, I spilled the meat, and even if I made it to the final step, my ravioli never turned out quite right. I sat back and became extremely frustrated. "I can't get it right," I said. She stopped what she was doing, looked over at me and my ravioli disaster, and reassured me that it's okay. Ravioli is hard to make, I have small hands, and this is my first time. I was still frustrated though, frustrated that I kept making stupid mistakes. Eventually she just looked at me, wagged her little half finger, and said, "We all make mistakes sometimes. Mine cost me a finger." This finger wag, half finger wag, kept showing up at other times in my life. I'd rip the fabric, finger wag. I'd drop the pasta, finger wag. "It's okay to mess up," the little finger said to me. I am a perfectionist. I have never allowed myself to be much less than perfect. I do not like making mistakes, so I don't. I sign up for every event, I run for every leadership position, I take the hardest classes, I do more than what's necessary on my homework. I don't give myself a break. At least I didn't until very recently. For as long as I can remember, I have worked myself until I couldn't anymore. When I was thinking about what to write for my senior speech, I wanted to say something I needed to hear in middle school, freshman year, sophomore year, even junior year. I reflected on all my struggles and came to the realization that at the end of the day, I am my own main perpetrator. You are probably your own main perpetrator too. It sounds obvious. Don't put pressure on yourself. Give yourself a break. But seriously, no one was making me take those hard classes. No one made me offer to lead those clubs or hang out with every person in the city of Memphis that asked, or do this or do that. But I told myself that I had to. So I did, and it was miserable. I never got any sleep, I was sad and exhausted all the time, and when I finally got free time, it was spent working or doing homework. I needed to see the A on the paper, hear the thank yous from everyone, and just generally be liked. To me, having all that meant being worth something. But I wasn't having fun. I was just living up to what I thought people wanted from me. At some point last year, I remembered my Oma's little finger, half finger wag. That small gesture that reminded me that imperfection is okay. So I made the change. I stopped being my own perpetrator. I put my energy into what I loved. Do you hate English? Don't take the AP English class. Do you cry before sports practice because you hate it so much? Quit. Is it 1 a.m. and you haven't finished studying? Stop. Are you sacrificing your free time to please everyone? Stay home and watch a movie. Do you have a free period first thing in the morning? Go to bed early and do your homework then. Don't be your own perpetrator. Along the way, imperfection and mistakes are inevitable. It will forever be a part of your life. But my Oma never threw away that saw that took off half her finger. No matter what mistake you make, what situation you find yourself in, or whatever imperfection is weighing you down, never throw away your saw. Simply move on, continue to do what you love, and live your best life with 9.5 fingers. Thank you.